Good afternoon, everyone. How's everybody doing? Great. Show of hands. This is your what? First, second, third, fourth, fifth session? Fifth session. Wow.
Okay.
Oh man, I'm on my third one. But nonetheless, you are, by the way, just to check, right? You're attending What's Next for Agents, Brokers, and Bancassurance. Don't get mistaken for Miss Insurtech Universe with the beautiful ladies that we have here. And of course, the judge, Mr. Prem.
Thank you.
Okay. Okay. Hope that, yeah, I saw some guys like, yeah. Okay, professional. Good afternoon, everyone. A persistent theme throughout 2024 has been back to basics, where the best strategy is the strategy of making money through revenue generation or cost savings. More and more in these events, we hear themes on fundamentals, how to set the foundation for your core system, how to enhance underwriting, improve efficiency on claims, effectively what insurance business is about. Less more of that AI, blockchain, etc. It's more on what the technology can do for the business rather than what the technology can do in general. Although I'm still hopeful for that large-scale use of blockchain in insurance, so still waiting for that. Insurance, after all, is still a risk-writing business, and more importantly, a people business. We are fortunate to have our esteemed panel with us today, who are not only experts in their respective domains, bancassurance, brokerage, affinity and partnerships, and agency, but also have a complementary domain expertise that contribute to their success in their respective roles. For those of you who don't have time to look up their LinkedIn profiles, we have today a former managing director for one of the largest banks in Hong Kong, and now the chief partnership distribution officer for one of the largest life insurance companies in the region. A fellow and former consultant at one of the large international consulting firms, now the SVP for customer experience and digital leader for the largest broker in the industry. A former product provider and regional leader for APAC from one of the largest health insurance companies, now heading up client solutions for one of the emerging broker players in the market. And of course, the thorn among the roses, sharing the stage together for the second time in 3 weeks with me, an e-commerce business builder who has successfully translated his expertise to the insurance industry, having a successful exit with the largest Insurtech company, which is Boltech, now looking to replicate the success, this time by founding a platform that helps augment agents' performance. I don't want to hog the mic anymore. I'll let you guys introduce yourselves. We'll start off with Tracy, but before that, Tracy, please introduce yourselves and what you do in your organization. But as an icebreaker, when was the last time you spoke with your insurance agent?
Oh, okay. I just see my best partner. My agent.
Oh,
actually, we are working so close day and night because, you know, this month is December. You know, everyone is chasing our numbers, our targets. So actually, we are so busy. Every minute I want to meet my agents. Anyway, besides joke, I'm Tracy. Nice to meet you. And actually, I am joining the insurance industry for like 4 years only. Before that, I spent 20 years in the banking industry. So currently, I'm the Chief Partnership Distribution Officer and mainly looking after, of course, the bancassurance business and also the brokerage business. And I think, you know, partnership with a bank is an art. Because, you know, normally, not most of the partnership is talking about at regional level for bancassurance. And so the insurance company have their own agenda. We want to build, you know, good margin business. We want to grow APE, right? And for the bank, they always want to have new products, better with higher guarantee, right? Low yield. So actually, that's why we always say that, you know, managing a bank assurance is an art. So I will talk about that later. Yep. So I can pass back the time to
Cinde.
Sure.
Thank you.
I feel like you introduce me better than I do.
You can try.
So I come from a consulting experience, 10 years before joining Marsh, which is one of the biggest P&C broker. firm globally. So I take care of the Asia Affinity digital business in Asia. So kind of flying a lot to meet our local partners and prospects. Yep. Happy to discuss more.
When was the last time you spoke with your agent?
Actually, in August, I think. So I bought a new critical illness policy for my second son.
There you go.
This is where, yeah.
Yeah, no digital there, eh?
No, agents, yeah.
There you go.
Hi, I'm Victoria.
Victoria.
So I'm actually Singaporean, but I'm based in Hong Kong for the last 10 years. I've actually been on the insurance company and carrier side for most of my career, and so I've transitioned to the dark side, to the brokerage business. We're actually a leading employee benefits specialist broker in Asia, and so I take care of the Hong Kong operations for our Hong Kong business, which is actually our headquarters as well. Really, really nice to be here and also be able to, get to know our fellow panelists as well.
I thought the insurance industry was also already the dark side. I didn't know there was a darker side.
There's a darker side.
Okay. Startups, maybe? Mr. Prem?
Hey everyone, my name is Prem, founder of Easy Digital. I did not come from insurance. I joined the insurance industry, the dark side, so you call it, like in 2015 when I first started selling insurance online. I sold that company to Boltec in 2020. It was a direct-to-consumer business. I was an agent and broker myself, so when I first started the company, I was selling policies myself on the phones.
Nice.
And meeting people. I took that experience and everything I learned along the way about insurance and decided, you know what, agencies are the backbone of the insurance industry. That is where most of the sales come from, majority of the insurance companies. Instead of trying to compete against them or try to get rid of them through direct-to-consumer, why not enable them using a digital platform? And that's what we do now with Easy Digital. We try to help insurance companies help their agents sell more.
When was the last time you spoke with your agent? And is he using Easy Digital?
I am an agent. I talk to myself all the
There
time.
you go. Talking about dark side, eh?
Yeah. Conversations are endless.
Yeah.
They're
It
great
gets to you. It gets to you.
Yeah. Victoria, when was the last time you spoke with your agent? Did we cover that?
Well, I actually spoke to my agent about a few months ago, but it was not very good news.
Oh, okay, sorry about that.
Yeah, let's not get to that.
Okay, let's move over to happier things. Bank assurance. Tracy, in a recent published report, speaking of happy things, Prudential has increased your new business profit year on year by 12%. Brought about by pricing adjustments and high-quality product offerings. I think you touched upon this earlier. How do pricing adjustments and product offerings impact the way you do business with your bank assurance partners, maybe in terms of segments and new customer base? Yeah.
As I mentioned, most of the banks, they are looking for, some wealth solution, right? Actually, most of the banker, they are looking for like savings plan and some low yield plans. So I think there is a myth always mentioned about, when we want to promote the health and H&P products with high yield, there's a myth always saying that, banking industry, they cannot do so. Because, when the customer thought about, buying the health and protection products, they normally think about, how to make sure the end-to-end process are seamless, especially the after sales and the claims, right? And they thought the relationship manager in the bank, normally they just, manage their wealth, but not good at helping the customer to do all the after sales, especially for the insurance policy. And, for the relationship managers, when you talk about the H&P, wow, it's so clumsy. The process. I need to do the medical underwriting. I need to follow up a long follow-up journey with the customers versus the savings plan, right? So that's why in the Hong Kong, banking industry, most of the banks, they are very good at, selling savings plan. And I have a good partner. I have a good bank partner. They also work with us closely to see how we can tackle this. Because all of us know about, everyone have their H&P needs. They have we all of us have a protection needs, right? But how to crack that in the bank? That is the whole journey. What we have done, actually, we have a lot of, customer focus group, and also the sales staff focus group to understand the pain points and what they are worrying about. And so we are not trying to build a product, but we need a solution. The solution to help to build a relationship manager confidence and the customer confidence, to sell H&P. And for the whole end-to-end process, training, support, we need to make sure the seamless after-sales claim service. We did a lot with the bank together. And that's why, actually, we penetrate the H&P product quite well in the banking base. And we also found that, those H&P holder, the policy holders are younger, and young affluent, and also young executive, which we seldom touch on, for the savings policy. So that's the way we increase our profit margin and, increase our penetration.
Yep. No, thanks, Tracy. I think you touched on you have a really good bank partner at this point. May I venture a guess? It's Standard Chartered Bank. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. So you've come from the distribution side and the insurance provider side, from both sides. What would you say constitute a good partnership between an insurance and a bank? How does that look like? Is there a dedicated team? Do you have weekly meetings? Is there someone from the domain, or is there someone like you who comes from the bank with the insurance company and vice versa? What makes it work for you right now, SEB and Prudential?
I think we work very closely, of course, and I think building the common goal is very important, at least at local level, because what I mentioned before when I introduced myself. So this is the art, because we have different agendas, but I think when I work with the bank, we try to find the optimal solution, because for us, we want to diversify. So not only, for the channels, for example, we are focusing on, the branch business, but also we want to focus on, SME business and also digital channel. So it also helped the bank. What I mentioned about how to penetrate into different segments, this is also important for both of us. For the bank and for the insurance company, because penetrating into different segments, meaning that we can diversify our product solution, because different age group, different customer segment, different customer life stage, they have different needs.
Yeah,
right? So that's why the winning formula to work with the bank is trying to understand, how to build a funnel and the customer life cycle, and then to fit in different solutions for them.
Nice. As you mentioned, more of an art, but I think having a common goal as a baseline will be the great solution to that. And you touch upon diversifying product needs, and this is a perfect segue to Cinde on digital and affinity business. In a recent paper from Lightspeed Ventures, by the way, this is the second time it has been referenced in this conference, I heard, they mentioned that the market opportunities for business in Southeast Asia are not as significant as they thought. I recommend everyone to look into that report, by the way. Even though digital adoption is still looking good, right? How do you think this will affect how insurance companies will distribute products?
Yeah, sure. So I also read the report that you shared. I think for me to answer this question, I'll first break into three parts. In the context of P&C, commercial and personal line insurance products, so first I'll touch on the kind of consumer behaviors in Southeast Asia, and second is the role of brokers in this journey, and then the third is the distribution strategy, right? So first, we understand, I think that we always thought that Southeast Asia is the next China or India, because we see amazing growth in China and India. We think that will replicate in Southeast Asia. But the reality is not, right? So obviously, I think big corporations, they're not seeing the expansion as big as they thought. So what's not working? So I think that the paper actually did some deep dive into it. I think in my experience, in Marsh broking experience, there is a trend that we think we cannot really generalize the consumer behaviors in Southeast Asia. But just kind of to summarize, I think 3 major characteristics. One is we need to make insurance products accessible, easily accessible through everyday needs. So we have to embed insurance products in everyday needs, right? Second is they need to be affordable. We know that although there's a lot of very affluent population in Southeast Asia, but a lot of them are actually pretty, income is not very high. So we need to make insurance products affordable. And most importantly is personalized. So how do we know about the market? How do we work with affinity groups and associations and other community groups in Southeast Asia to distribute insurance products? So that comes to my second point is, what is the role of broker in this, right? So brokers like Marsh, in terms of affinity business, so we, there are 3 things. One is we do provide, facilitate digital transactions with our partners. So basically our partners are obviously insurance companies, reinsurance companies, MGA, TPA, affinity groups, like association, professional associations, market digital e-commerce platform, which is very popular in Southeast Asia. So try to kind of make a case to distribute insurance products through this partnership. And then we facilitate by having digital transformations and transactions easier for them, right? So on that, we also have a lot of data and insight through this partnership. And then we share these data with our partners so that they get to understand their customer behaviors better. So that goes to my final point, is the affinity distribution model. I think maybe a lot of you guys are not very familiar with the affinity distribution model. So basically, you can understand it is a B2B2B or B2B2C or B2B to a lot of things. So that is really, we find B2B2E, B2B2R, like you can, write us. Different B2B to a lot of things. So this is how a key thing is for us to find in affinity groups where they have a common insurance needs, and then we place the risk together. Then we distribute through digital channel for them. So this is where I feel like we can add value from a perspective of broker to help distribution. It's not it's a very long answer, but
no, it's great. Spoken like a true consultant. 3 points of 3 points. Love it.
Thank you.
Is there a PowerPoint slide somewhere? But no, you mentioned about affordability and accessibility, and I think that's been ongoing narrative, right? In your experience, what's your favorite type of collaboration so far from a distribution, and what insurance product is that?
So recently we do see a trend in Southeast Asia where they have something like Alipay in Hong Kong, that they have something like everything in one app, that kind of product. And then they also want to kind of sell insurance there. So we find it quite interesting to work with these companies in collaboration model, because that also kind of embed your insurance buying journey through your everyday needs. Yeah.
Nice, great example. There's a lot of context, high affinity, and best part is there's a pathway to transaction, which is a key to embedded insurance. Okay, thanks. Victoria. Pacific Prime is one of the upcoming brokers in the region. What opportunities are you seeing in the market where players like Pacific Prime can play a role, both from a client and carrier perspective? That's not a canned question. I have a follow-up. We spoke about diversifying, and I think large brokers like Marsh, you take care of the bigger ticket items. I think there's a nice little space for Pacific Prime to compete with that, or I could be wrong, but please educate us on where the opportunities are. Yep.
Okay, so actually for Pacific Prime, we are the third largest employee benefits specialist broker in Asia. That was the last that we checked.
Yeah. Number one now.
Yeah. And the thing that is that we actually started off with very humble beginnings. The first policy that we sold was actually a motor insurance policy to a single person. And right now we are actually, underwriting more than 1 billion of premiums globally. And I think the key sort of value proposition for us has been that we always see ourselves as an extension of the client, because we do work with more B2B, but obviously there is an element of B2C because we do manage employees or members on the ground. But being able to be an extension of the client means that we're able to understand the client's needs and be very flexible to tailor ourselves and our solutions to what the client wants and needs in that particular perspective. Now, we've also gone through acquisitions. So our latest acquisition was in 2021, where we acquired CXA. And so CXA was one of the key sort of founding flexible benefits platform. And being able to take it and modernize it, we were able to sort of tear out the structure of CXA and make it a lot more efficient and to be able to provide flexible benefit solutions to clients at a much more affordable cost and a lot more efficient than what our fellow competitors would be able to do. So with that, that has been able to give us even more trajectory into a broader space, not just selling insurance products or employee benefits products, but also to look at, can there be some form of redesign that we can work with insurance carriers to offer more cost-effective products to our clients? Because obviously cost is a very big thing, and I'm pretty sure everybody is like, well, the economy is not great.
Yes.
Cost cutting is a big thing. This is something that we are really looking towards as well.
Nice. Good stuff. And I agree. Pacific Prime probably is one of my favorite stories in the insurance industry so far and how it has started and grown. Speaking of great stories from Insurtech, Prem, shifting to agency business, digital platforms for agents have resurfaced this year, as there is, again, as Victoria has mentioned, we're always talking about revenue this time around. No more play money for innovation. As a key Insurtech player, what are the features you are building that ensure adoption and immediate impact? So again, like where there's this long tail strategy on how it is, how do you make sure like the agents actually use your platform and the insurance companies recognize immediate impact for your technology? Yep.
Full-on sales mode, okay?
There you go. Time starts now.
I think that's the best way to put it is there are different aspects. You were talking earlier about funnel, right? It is all about the funnel. You have to understand that different parts of it need different tools to get to the bottom goal. And the bottom goal is sales. Sales is the end state. You don't ask for sales. You ask for other things that leads to sales. So what we try to do is try to help produce modules that can do those other things. So a very simple thing. Up top of the funnel, what's the biggest part is marketing. How do you get more, how do you do marketing, or how do you help agents to do marketing to get more leads? Because that is the absolute top of the funnel. Some of the things that you can do is help them build credibility. And we try to help them do that by providing them profile pages. We provide, tools that get them to learn about the products that they're selling through a gamified platform. Things like that helps them understand the products that they're selling, as well as gain credibility with their customers. That helps them get more leads. The second part, once you get the leads, what do? You convert the leads. Now, how do you help convert the leads? A simple fact, as when I was a broker, the thing that helped the most is the faster you get in touch with your leads, the higher the conversion rate. Research and studies have come out multiple times. If you get in touch with your customer within an hour, you're 7 times more likely to convert them than within a day. If you're contacting them within a few minutes when they're thinking about insurance, your conversion rate goes up by another 100 to 200%. Those are facts. Now, if you can give a platform to an agent to be able to access the leads that they have and get to the customers with the quotation within those few hours, crucial hours, you're increasing conversion rate automatically by not doing anything different except for being faster at it. That's the second thing you do. So you're converting those leads into customers. Now, when you've converted those leads into customers, you got to retain them. That's the third part of the funnel, retention. And that's about renewals, giving them notifications in a timely manner, making sure that they're aware of which customers are coming up in the funnel, what products they've purchased, what claims they have, what you should be selling them, what other agents have been selling them based on data as well. All of this information gives the agents the powerful tool to be able to see, okay, this is what we should be doing next. And last but not least, after that, claims. That's always going to be there. We don't do claims ourselves, but we work with partners to do claims. So the way we design our platform is, there's no way I can do everything in the insurance industry. It's not possible. So we partner with a lot of companies like on payment gateways, on e-training, even on AI. Like, you know, for me to go tell people or put AI on my logo out there, I probably have more people visiting the booth if I had the word AI on it.
Still have time.
Yeah, but it's just, let's just face it, right? For everybody to go out and build their own AIs, it makes no sense. You should partner with people. You should try to get other people's technologies involved in your platform as well to be able to grow. And that's, in a nutshell, that's what I do to try to help increase the end goal, which is sales.
No answer. I'm an insurance company. I have 1,000 agents, varying segments. I want to do a POC with you. What's the ideal profile for me to ensure high adoption of your platform?
That's the motivation part. Actually, you know, there's many things you can do for adoption. There's never a one bullet that solves all the problems, right? Like we were talking about sales earlier, there's no one thing you can do to improve sales. There's multiple small things you do to improve every bit of the funnel. Same thing with adoption. First thing is, you have to understand, as most agents, right? If you're just giving them a tool, you're giving them a hammer, you're giving them a screwdriver, it's not sexy, it's boring, they're not gonna look at it, right? So what we add to the platform? Games. Simple things like that can motivate them, allow them to show off to their new customers, allow them to show off within their group of agents, create competition, create a leaderboard, things that they can say to their friends and families, look, I'm topping #1, or I won this prize, or I earned this badge. These small, simple things help agents get motivated by themselves because they're salespeople, man. I'm a sales guy. Like when you make a sale, you want to shout it out on LinkedIn. You want to shout it out wherever. When agents make a sale, they want to shout it out to the rest of their customers or to the rest of the other agents within that group as well. I made a sale. What did you do this week? We give them that ability.
I was in a panel. No, great. I mean, high engagement, of course. And I think that leads into my segue to a question to Tracy, which is high engagement, which leads to customer retention, which again, easier said than done. Maintaining customers is one of the key elements in driving a profitable book, particularly for life insurance. After sales service is often a topic that's being discussed and experienced on the ground. What are some actions that Prudential is taking to have the balance of long-term strategic plays, similar to what I've mentioned to Prem, while providing real-time value to bank partners? Yeah.
I think digital is also the key, you know, for us working with the bank. So I think there are a few steps that we had done together with the bank, you know, to ensure, you know, the sales experience, customer experience, the journey is seamless, and then to let, you know, to motivate, it's kind of like motivation for the sales, you know, to build their confidence to do the business for us. So I think what we had done, we built an open API quite a number of years ago, and when the customer have interested in, you know, insurance products, then we just capture all the bank data, including the financial data, and then to build into the F&A, the application form, etc. So actually, the end-to-end process is talking about is a kind of like 30 minutes, you know, can done the end-to-end because, you know, we have most of the customer information with the bank already. So we invest a lot on the open API and the e-submission platform. This is, it helped to, you know, ensure the application process, the customer experience on during the application stage. And for the mobile banking app, we also, built, some information to let the customer know about their policy information, the premium amount, etc. Of course, in the mobile banking, if the customer want to buy some life insurance, they can also use the app to do the straightforward by themselves. So we work closely together because we believe that through digital, we can create, what the funnel we mentioned, the customer needs for upsell, cross-sell. So it creates some real-time benefit for the bank. What else? Just before I talk about, the H&P product, and not exactly the product, but the solution, as I mentioned. So that's why we also invest a lot on H&P, very powerful app we call Healthcare Plus. So we have the team here, sitting here, and the Healthcare Plus actually kill a lot of worries from the RM, because after we sell the medical plan, if the customer have like hospital admission, claims, they want to get second opinion about cancer, etc., they can use that app to do the end-to-end everything by themselves. So the apps also create a lot of information, for both the RM and the customer when they need any after-sales service. So I think this kind of, investment in digital can help a lot for building the long-term journey.
I agree.
For the partnership.
I agree.
Right.
No, great. I was going to say the exact same thing, but yeah, you read my mind, Tracy. But with that, okay, we have some questions too. But Cinde, speaking of tech and operations, as Tracy has alluded to with partnerships, right? What are the pressing challenges in coordinating with intermediaries and clients you are seeing, and how are you guys addressing this currently?
Yep, I have a few points, but cautious of time, so I probably highlight the most important thing in my experience. This is really regulatory compliance. So the challenge is to keep up with increasing regulations in each of these countries. For example, we see increasing regulation in Vietnam, Thailand, obviously China, Taiwan as well. So these countries are trying to introduce different laws or compliance regulations to make sure that all the online digital sales in insurance is secure and compliant. So as one of the biggest challenge that we work with the different partners and intermediate is to provide a very secure regulatory framework, data privacy and security measures, as well as very secure, a lot of the, for example, digital insurance licensing, etc. Right? So these, as a broker or even, insurance companies, we need to invest a lot in making sure that we comply with different countries and local regulations. So I think this is the biggest challenge, and I'm sure most of the you guys would agree as well.
Yeah, business hygiene then, yep.
Correct.
Thank you. Victoria, right now, employee benefits, and you mentioned about FlexBen, huge fan of the platform too. Employee benefits ecosystem has been a popular and sought after narrative in the recent years. What's the current state? Obviously, there was a big buzz around, and now you told me you dissected it. And what's its current form right now?
I think the biggest sort of discussion points that we've been having with our existing clients as well as prospects is cost. I've mentioned it just now as well, because the environment that we operate in, especially for places like in Hong Kong, where employee benefits isn't necessarily something that's compulsorily offered to employees, that becomes the first thing that employers start to cut when things get a little bit tough. From our perspective, we are looking at different ways of how to contain this and also how to be a little bit more innovative. The beauty about Pacific Prime and our flexible solutions is that we can tailor everything. Well, my title is Head of Client Solutions, so I have to think about a solution for every single problem that the client comes to me with. And the ability for us to be so flexible to tailor to what the customer needs and also wants in a very cost-tight environment, that's really what we are trying to go against. And we've been able to come up with quite interesting and, thinking out a little bit out of the box about how to redesign benefits. Instead of your traditional inpatient, outpatient benefits, what is it that we can change, and how is it that we can restructure the benefits and plan design so that it makes it a little bit more cost efficient, it gives employees the choice, and also at the same time it helps the insurers or the insurance carriers deal with loss ratios, poor performing cases, and things like that. So that's something that we are going through. The thing about, we talked about, I think every speaker here has really talked about like digital adoption, digitalization. Even in Hong Kong, there's a lot more talk about digital platforms and things like that. But from our perspective, digital adoption is still quite low in terms of the benefits, the employee benefits space, especially when it comes to flex platforms. If you compare it to Singapore, where 1 in 3 companies already offer flex, in Hong Kong, I think people want to offer flex, but then at the same time, they're a little bit like, okay, we'll see what Cinde does, we'll see what Tracy does, and then everybody is like, okay, we'll wait to see what happens, and then everybody is sort of a bit apprehensive about taking the leap forward. So our role is also how to advise our clients to help them take the leap of faith, or take the leap of faith with them, and tell them that really this is the way forward if you want to compete with the likes of Singapore, for example.
Not much kiasu mentality in Hong Kong. Right?
No. I'm pretty sure kiasu is not a it's not a thing. Yeah.
Thanks. Great. I think I would love to touch on that after this. But Prem, last question, sir. Okay, we spoke about I'm sold, right? I love the energy, love what you're doing, you know your stuff. But again, I think the main challenge is, since we're in Insurtech Insights, there's no shortage of great technology that's available out there. Usually the onus is on insurance companies on how fast they move, particularly with agent distribution. What challenges are you experiencing right now on why you haven't conquered the 100% of the Thailand market? And what are you doing to address them?
Oh, yeah, it's not just the Thailand market, right? This is a global issue, right? Insurance companies are risk-based companies. The first thing they think about is risk and how to be conservative, not how to be forward-thinking, not how to be sexy, not how to be innovative. It's not in their DNA right now. And I'm sorry to say this, but a lot of companies try to be like, oh, we are innovative, we're launching this, but all that. But realistically, not a single agent, not a single customer looks at you and says, oh, that's a Google right there, or that's a Facebook right there. No, it's an insurance company. There's an undertone there that this is a boring old industry. That needs to change. And that's not going to change if the people within the industry are not trying new things. And it's okay to try something and fail. You don't have to take 12 months to go through a procurement process to try out a new piece of software like Slack. It makes no sense. You can launch it within a day and try it out, and if it works, keep using it. If it doesn't work, then drop it and use something else. Nobody's gonna say, you tried Slack, it didn't work. It makes no sense. And that, for me, that's the startup mindset that I have. That's the entrepreneurial culture that I come from. So when I see something, I try it, I jump on it, because the risk of not trying along the long term is a lot worse than trying and failing at it. And you learn a lot more from trying and failing than sitting and discussing it in multiple meetings and going through months and months of procurement processes and not getting anywhere.
So the challenge is procurement process of insurance companies.
Oh. I love them. They're my friends.
So back, I go off script, Prem. Back to the question: how do you address the procurement challenge of the insurance industry? Look, I know it's not up to you, right? But
no, it's never up to me, but I try to de-risk it for them as much as I can. So for me, it's like, look, I built a platform before. It's sold to Boltec, the largest Insurtech company in the world. I have ISO certification. I have SOC 2 certification. I'm more certified than you are on technology than you are yourself. I work with these partners. Here is a live demo that doesn't cost you anything, that does what you want it to do.
Security is there, by the way.
So there's only so much I can do, but at the end of the day, if their mindset and thought processes are still like this, it's still going to take time. I do see it changing as the younger generation joins these insurance companies and getting to a more position of power. It does change. And along with more incumbents getting beaten out by new insurance companies that are starting up from scratch, that are coming in with great technologies or great platforms with money, the incumbents start getting scared.
Okay, and I'm going to consultify it for him. So the challenge is procurement process and having the insurance companies move faster. And the way you're addressing this is speak about it passionately in a forum to scare them that they need to adopt.
Just put them in a dark room.
The darker
Yeah, in the
side.
dark room.
Okay, to wrap up, I know I'm over time. Maybe one for everyone, and just to have one question. I'm picking one. How can we better encourage the younger generations to be full-time insurance agents rather than looking into the industry as a side hustle? 15 seconds each, please. Prem.
I think doing some of the things that I was just talking about earlier, just making insurance a little bit more sexy, a little bit more innovative, a place where people can express or work and show their ingenuity or things like that. That already makes a huge difference, and that already attracts the younger talent. They don't work for money anymore. They work for impact. And to give them that ability to make that impact within your organization is the key to actually getting them to join.
Tracy?
I think, yes, be more sexy and be more flexible. Nowadays, I mean the young generation, normally they don't like routine job, right?
Yep.
They want something new and something impactful and something really, create some halo effect among their peers. So I think what we need to do is how to use insurance product relevant to the young generation's daily life. I mean, this is very important because nowadays they love maybe cyber, everything they can have different, because I have a son at 10. He normally browse the internet for quite and maybe an hour for a day. Mm-hmm. They change very fast. I mean the popularity, I mean the theme they are focusing on changing very fast. This is what I learned from my son. So, and I think, the industry also need to move fast, to cope with what they need, what they're interested in. Then we can capture, the young generation in the industry. And also, how to penetrate insurance, the awareness to the young generation. This is also another thing we need to think about, how to make insurance relevant to their life. I mean, the life for the youngest.
Thanks, Tracy. Vic?
I think I'm going to say this more from a health perspective, and younger generation. The problem is, the younger generation always think that they don't need insurance until they're 40, 50. But then the reality, or I'm not trying to be really morbid, but reality is people are getting sick much younger now. From my perspective, why I enjoy doing what I do is that I know that by doing what I do, I'm actually helping people. I think it's like what Tracy has said, the awareness and the education and educating the younger people that it is more of a necessity than just pencil pushing or we're just selling a product. By doing that, we're actually helping someone, and by helping their protection needs, we're actually creating something for them, and so that they can thank their futures, that the future self can thank their past self. So I think it's more of an education that we'll look at.
Good stuff. Last?
So very simple incentives.
Incentives.
Yeah, incentivize them to join the agency workforce. I think that's pretty pragmatic.
Back to money. That's the key of this. This is the money session. But yeah, I agree. Money, make it sexy, make it contextual and adjusting to the real times, and of course the pragmatism and the education. Thank you, everyone. Sorry we went over time, but it was a very, very fun session and educational at the same time. Thank you, my panelists, and thank you for the audience. Wow, you stuck around. Thank you.